Yeah, Debbie. I don't know if Amber could have afforded to fly out of there and come back.
Mr. Foreperson, is this the verdict of the jury?
Yes.
All right, is it unanimous?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Jamie?
Me too, Debbie. I don't expect Johnny to win, but I'm
case
hopeful.
Number CL 2019-2911. Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition, quote, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
Woo!
Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes.
Woohoo!
Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes.
Yes!
Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
Yeah, baby!
2. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse, and I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out, end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes.
Woo!
Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes.
Ha!
Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
Yes.
3. As to the statement appearing in the op-ed entitled, A Transformative Moment for Women in the Washington Post print edition and the online op-ed, Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change. In the Washington Post online edition. Quote, I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. End quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory
Guilty
implication
on all counts.
was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of this statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer,
Does this clerk
yes.
keep saying Saul?
Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven by
S-A-W-L-L?
clear and convincing evidence that Ms. Heard acted with actual malice? Answer, yes.
Yes.
As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million.
Woo!
As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million. In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Ms. Heard's claim against Mr. Depp. 1. As to this statement, appearing in the April 8, 2020
$15 million.
edition of the Daily Mail, quote, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as the sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, no. 2. As to this statement, appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, quite simply, this was an ambush, a hoax. They set Mr. Depp up by calling the cops, but the first
You
attempt
really
did
should
not do
have
the
propped
trick.
this up so I'm not
The
holding it.
officers came to the penthouses, thoroughly searched and interviewed, and left after seeing no damage to face or property. So Amber and her friends spilled a little wine and roughed the place up, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, and then placed a second call to 911, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has
Oh,
Ms. Heard proven by a greater weight of the evidence that question, Mr. Waldman, while acting as an agent for Mr. Depp, made or published the statement? Answer, yes.
uh-oh.
Question, the statement was about Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was seen by someone other than Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven by clear and convincing evidence that the statement by Mr. Waldman was made with actual malice? Answer, yes. 3. As to this statement, appearing in the April 27, 2020 online edition of the Daily Mail, quote, we've reached the beginning of the end of Ms. Heard's abuse hoax against Johnny Depp, end quote. Do you find that Ms. Heard has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, no.
Good.
As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $2 million. As against John C. Depp II, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $0.
All right. Does either side wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jamie?
Members of the jury, if this is your verdict, please answer yes. If this is not your verdict, please answer no. Juror number 6.
Yes.
Juror number 10.
Yes.
Juror number 15.
Yes.
Juror number 16.
Yes.
Juror number 22.
Yes.
Juror number 27. Juror number 29.
Yes.
Okay, I do find that the jury's verdict is unanimous. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your service in this case. I want to thank you again for your dedication and your hard work during this trial. And I know I speak for everybody here when I tell you that we appreciate your sacrifices and your time and your public service in this matter, okay? So I'm going to have you go back to the jury deliberation room for one more time, and then we'll release you from there, okay? All right, thank you. All right. Okay. In accordance with law, I will amend the punitive damages award to the statutory cap of $350,000 on Mr. Depp's award. Okay. I will set this down for entry of an order, and can we do it on June 24th at 10 a.m. if that's available? All right, Mr. Chu, if you could prepare that order and then circulate it to Ms. Butterhoff, and we can have all the objections noted on it. All right.
We'll do that, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, and if I get it before that date, I'll take it off the docket, okay? All right, again, thank you to all the attorneys for your professionalism, and you're welcome to come to my courtroom anytime. Well, give me a few weeks, but then you can come to me anytime, okay? All right, court is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
I'm gonna leave this on because I'm gonna guess they're gonna have their legal experts now on this channel explain things, so we'll see what they say on that. I call bullshit on giving Amber anything at all for what Johnny Depp's lawyer said. How can he be held liable for something that his attorney said? Yeah, Dawn, I didn't understand that the cap is up $350K. Then why are they able to sue for 50 or 100 million if there's a cap of $350K? I am amazed that Johnny Depp came away victorious in this. I'm happy because justice prevailed. Amber Heard was the abuser in this, and they had, that guy's got a mullet. Squirrel. They had agreed that they were not to talk. There was an NDA, and her writing that, no matter what ACLU's involvement was in writing it, but she wasn't supposed to say anything. And you did it because you're petty. And I don't care that the UK ruled against Johnny. We've talked time and time again that juries are not given everything. So they are not making an educated decision. And just because a jury rules one way, it does not mean justice is served.
Outside the courtroom where you can see these fans, as I said, every time a judgment was read in favor of Johnny Depp, a huge crowd, cheers, went up here. The crowd cheering, Johnny, Johnny. Clearly, heavily tilted in favor of Johnny Depp.
They're going to give any kind of
and so they're still standing outside. I imagine they are going to be here waiting for Johnny Depp's legal team to come out. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, the lawyers themselves have basically earned celebrity status during the course of this trial. The judge sending the jurors back into the jury room one more time before they are dismissed. Linda, do you think we're going to hear anything from Amber Heard?
Well, she came to the courthouse, so I assume that she will give a press conference. So they'll say they're going to appeal the verdict. They'll say that she was vindicated. Remember, this case has a lot of spin going on with it. But she's going to be asked the question is, how do you feel about the jury not believing your claims against Johnny Depp that he is he was the abuser? It turns out he was the victim, and she's not going to be happy with that question. I don't think there's an answer she can give that can spin that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's no question we're going to hear from her legal team. Maybe they'll take some questions. My guess is if she were to come out, and that's a big if because this is a pro-Johnny Depp crowd out here, if she were to come out, maybe she would make a brief prepared statement and then be like immediately ushered into a car by security.
I think if Amber Heard gives a press conference, it wouldn't be out there. It would be in some room in the courthouse.
Again, for those who are just tuning in, the verdicts, I should say, not the verdict, but the verdicts are in, and Johnny Depp, the clear winner here, the jury determining that Amber Heard did defame him on all 3 counts that were being considered in her 2018 Washington Post op-ed. And joining us now is the one, the only, Dan Abrams, the founder of the Law and Crime Network. With us, Dan, give me your reaction.
Well, first of all, we have to say, wow. I mean,
I don't like Dan Abrams because he says Stephen Avery is guilty.
Just like 3 million plus others have been on the Law and Crime Network. And the fact that Johnny Depp won on all 3 counts is pretty amazing. Remember, this is a case where he sued a publication in London where the standard is harder to win. And a judge came back and said, no, he believed that Johnny Depp was a quote wife beater on 12 of 14 counts. Now you have a jury here of 7 people, 5 men and 2 women, coming back and saying that Johnny Depp was defamed on all 3 of the counts. I mean, this, I think, is a real surprise to a lot of people. Now, I had talked about previously the possibility of both of them, quote unquote, winning. But I think this, quote, win for Amber Heard is really a token win. Putting aside the money, right? Putting
Amber shouldn't have won anything. Because again, I will say, I don't think it's right to punish Johnny for something his lawyer said.
It sounds like the issue the jurors had with the statement made by the lawyer for Johnny Depp was about the fact that she got together with her friends, effectively conspiring. So maybe they didn't believe that aspect of it. But it seems to me that the takeaway from this case is these jurors believe Johnny Depp,
so I
and they
say
didn't believe Amber Heard.
Johnny's
I don't think
lawyer,
there's any other way to interpret
the Waldman guy, owes
together.
Johnny Depp $2 million.
Yeah, and Dan, I think that's a really good point because the statement in which the jurors found for Amber Heard was a longer one that Adam Waldman made, in which he said, you know, talking about Amber and her friends setting Johnny Depp up, and to your point, saying, yeah, so Amber and her friends spilled a little wine, they roughed up the place, got their story straight under the direction of a lawyer and publicist, then placed a second call to 911. So perhaps the jurors didn't believe that whole sort of collaboration, right, conspiring happened. Would you say that then this is not a total loss for Amber Heard, though?
I think it's a total loss for Amber Heard. I mean, it's better. I mean, it's better that she won that one aspect of it than if she didn't win anything. Her team can now try and spin it and suggest that it was, you know, both sides and people didn't believe either. But in the end, I mean, when we talk to these jurors, and I'm sure that some of them will talk, they're going to tell you, I feel confident that they're going to tell you that they simply did not believe Amber Heard. Because remember, it's not that she won on all 3 of the counts with regard to her countersuit either. I mean, basically the jurors had come back and said, he wins on all counts and she wins on all counts, then I'd have a different answer for you. But because they said he wins on all counts, but she just wins on this one issue, it seems to me that I don't see how those jurors believe on questions 2 and 3 with regard to Johnny Depp, not just the sexual violence claim, but the rest of it. I don't see how those jurors come back and say that he was defamed and that there was any sort of equivalency here. If he was defamed by that statement and Amber Heard did not win on those countersuits with regard to calling it a hoax, etc., these jurors clearly believe Johnny Depp and didn't believe Amber Heard.
Yeah, Dan, let me stop you here because our 3.5 or so million viewers, 3 million viewers on YouTube, and some people have some concerns. They want to make sure that you are not driving. Like so many people, I'm sure you stopped whatever you were doing when you heard a verdict was coming at 3 o'clock. You picked up your phone and dialed into YouTube, right?
I'm in the back seat of a car. I'm not actually driving.
Right. He's not at the wheel, guys. He's in the back seat of a car. He's safe. Everyone on the road is safe. Dan's a lawyer. He wouldn't endanger himself and others. Let's talk about the appeal. Is Amber Heard going to appeal this, Dan?
Absolutely, she's going to appeal it. And remember, people have to remember that when you're appealing primarily the legal rulings, right? So she will appeal some of the testimony that was allowed to come in. She will appeal some of the aspects of the judge's
She's
rulings
so dumb if
in
she
this
appeals.
case. The pretrial rulings.
Just go hide
the
with your
ruling
tail
itself,
between your legs.
she's going to challenge the fact that there was a camera in the courtroom. There's going to be a whole panoply of challenges that she's going to make about how unfair the trial was. And she'll also seek to reduce damages, right? In any appeal, the first thing you want to do, in addition to try and get a new trial, get it thrown out, is to try to reduce the damages and say that the jury made mistakes in how it assessed damages. I think that's her most likely chance of success here. But, that's not going to be the win for her. I mean, this to me is just, it's basically an all-out win for Johnny Depp. And I do think that this gets him exactly what he wanted here, which is, I don't think he cares about the money, whether he ends up getting the money, she doesn't have that kind of money. This is vindication.
The money doesn't
for
matter.
Johnny Depp. A jury has said that he was
can
defamed
make
by these
the money
comments.
he's lost
And that
in one
means
movie.
that these jurors believe that he was not a domestic abuser. And I think that allows him to get back his career in many ways. You could argue there were other reasons he lost much of his career. But this is a massive win for Johnny Depp, and I don't think it can be underestimated to characterize it that way.
Yeah, I mean, Dan, you touched on the damages, and let me remind our viewers again that the jury awarded Johnny Depp $15 million in damages, and they awarded Amber Heard $2 million for finding that one of the statements made by Johnny Depp's lawyers was defamatory. So a little bit of imbalance in what's owed.
I agree with you, Debbie.
To your point, Amber might not have that money. We've talked about
Disney
this already, but
owes
what happens
him
during
two
this case? She doesn't have the $15 million
alpacas.
for damages.
We'll see.
Mega
Look, there's going to be a lot of appeals. We're a long way from the final judgment being issued in this case, and Johnny Depp pursuing the damages against him. Well, let's see what happens there before we say that Amber Heard is going to have to declare bankruptcy. Which is potentially something that could happen in the end if she owed this kind of money and simply can't pay it. She could also try and raise money through donations, etc., from other people based on the reaction to this trial. I'm not sure that would be particularly successful. But, I think we're a little ways away from knowing exactly how much she's going to have to pay.
Ask Carla Chase how to do a GoFundMe for Amber Heard.
Let's talk about Johnny Depp for a second, because a little bit before we found out that there was a verdict, we did confirm that he was not going to be here. There had been a lot of speculation. We know he's been playing rock shows the last 3 nights in the UK. We knew there was a possibility he'd stay there. In fact, his team confirmed he would be staying there and watching the verdict from there. Any thoughts on him not being present for the
Rhonda,
verdict?
it's shocking that there was some actual
This
justice
is not a criminal
today.
case. I think that people are sort of conflating this with a criminal trial.
We're so
People say,
used
how
to
could he
all
not
these
be
wrongful
there?
convictions.
It's a civil case for damages. You could argue,
That our
okay,
legal system is
does
broken.
he not care enough to be
And
there?
it finally
I don't know.
worked.
I mean, I don't view it as particularly significant that when it comes to a verdict that could take many days, that he decided he didn't want to wait. That's really more, from my perspective, a PR issue than it is a legal question. And the dollars, okay, but that didn't happen.
I think
and so.
Right, Debbie?
you're
Yeah,
back,
there
you're
were
back.
still no tears at all.
Dan, can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Yeah, I
brought
got
up
you,
really
I
it's
got
more
you.
of a
There's
PR
Jeanette
question, and so
in the green
no,
dress.
that's okay. We get it. We get
We
it.
know
Lots
her
going
from
on.
the Stephen
Listen, so
Avery
you
trial.
said yeah, that's a PR question about Depp not being here. So I have another PR question for you, because you watch so many of these high-profile trials, and yes, this is not a criminal trial, but we've seen a lot of high-profile civil trials. We know that these stars' reputations, what was left of them essentially, were at stake. Amber Heard's in the courtroom. We know both legal teams are going to come out. Do you think Amber Heard is going to address the media at all?
I don't think with all those Johnny Depp fans out there, she wants to hold a press conference where people start yelling at her.
She would not hold. If she were to hold a press conference out there, she'd be an idiot.
For Amber Heard make statements.
I mean, she's an idiot,
I'd
but
have her
she'd
sit
be an
down
even
with
bigger
someone,
idiot.
you know, a relatively favorable journalist sometime, you know, tomorrow, next day, whenever, to give her statement. I don't think she wants the sound bites of her, you know, talking about how upset she is, about the disappointed she is, and people yelling at her and jeering at her. But I'd expect that both sides' lawyers would likely make themselves available to the media right there after the case. And of course, the most interesting part is going to be talking to the jurors, if and when they'll talk.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that most be talking to.
What media outlet will get the jurors
Dan,
first?
thank you so much for dialing in and sharing your response with us, your reactions to this big pivotal moment after more than 6 weeks of covering this trial. We thank you so much. Maybe we'll check in with you later. But for now, I want to go right to Linda in the studio. She has a statement from Johnny Depp, his reaction to the verdict. Linda.
Oh my goodness, I'm actually trying to find it right now, Stacey, so just give me 1 second here. Hold on 1 second, you know, live TV, a lot going on. Okay, I need the statement. I will read it to you, but I need the statement. But while I'm waiting for that, if our producers can put it here, okay? All right, let me read it right now. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go, all right? And by the way, I love Dan commenting on our favorite witness by giving his report from his car. Alejandro, I'm changing my Zoom background. But here's Johnny Depp by his spokesperson. 6 years ago, my life, the life of my children, the lives of those closest to me, and also the lives of the people who for many, many years have supported and believed in me were forever changed, all in the blink of an eye. False, very serious and criminal allegations were levied at me by the media, which triggered an endless barrage of hateful content, although no charges were ever brought against me. It had already traveled around the world twice within a nanosecond, and it had a seismic impact on the life and my career. And 6 years later, the jury gave back my life. I am truly humbled. My decision to pursue this case, knowing very well the height of the legal hurdles that I would be facing and the inevitable worldwide spectacle into my life, was only made after considerable thought. From the very beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth regardless of the outcome. Speaking the truth was something that I owe to my children and to those who have remained steadfast in their support of me. I feel at peace knowing that I have finally accomplished that. I am and have been overwhelmed by the outpouring of love and the colossal support and kindness from around the world.
I agree, Debbie.
I hope that my quest to have the truth be told will have helped others, men or women, who have found themselves in my situation, and that those supporting them never give up. I also hope that the position will now return to the innocent until proven guilty, both within the courts and the media. I wish to acknowledge the noble work of the judge, the jurors, the court staff, and the sheriffs who have sacrificed their own time to get to this point, and to my diligent and unwavering legal team who did an extraordinary job in helping me share the truth. The best is yet to come, and a new chapter has finally begun. Veritas nunquam perit. Truth never perishes. That's from Johnny Depp. That's the statement. Stacey, I know that you are sitting out there with Ann Jeanette. We have Nima here in the studio right now. What is your reaction to that? Stacey, what is going back to you, your reaction to all that? Johnny Depp's statement, very long.
My reaction to you is Amber Heard's statement, which we just have in to us right now. Let me read that. The disappointment I feel today is beyond words. I'm heartbroken that the mountain of evidence still was not enough to stand up to the disproportionate power, influence, and sway of my ex-husband. I'm even more disappointed with what this verdict means for other women. It is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is to be taken seriously. She goes on to say, I believe Johnny's attorney succeeded in getting the jury to overlook the key issue of freedom of speech and ignore evidence that was so conclusive that he won in the UK. I'm sad I lost this case, but I am sadder worse still, that I seem to have lost a right that I thought I had as an American to speak freely and openly. Again, that's a statement from Amber Heard sent to us by
Nobody
her
said you
publicist,
couldn't
where
speak.
she says,
There's
I'm sad I lost this
consequences
case. So even
for
though
lying.
the jurors did find that Johnny Depp's attorney defamed her with one of his statements, as we've been saying, clearly this is a big loss for her. And Linda, when she says, you know, this is an affront to freedom of speech, what's your take on that?
It's not. The problem is that we said this is a very important case for freedom of speech when we started covering it here at the Law and Crime Network. But it's also important that those don't abuse it. People do not abuse the freedom of speech. They don't defame others, especially calling someone who may have been the victim, or now the jury says is the victim, the abuser, and changing his life and the life of his family and children forever. So you have freedom of speech, yes, but you can't lie about people, and you can't lie about the people in the public. And I think the jury felt that, as we talked many times on this network, that Amber Heard was manipulative, and they did not want to be manipulated by her lies to them. And therefore, they came out with this very convincing verdict. And it is a total win, as Dan Abrams said, for Johnny Depp. Because on the other side of the token, what you have is a lawyer who's going to be paying a malpractice policy if it doesn't get overturned on appeal.
Linda, Anjanette Levy's back outside with us now. She was inside when the verdicts were read. What was the mood? Did you get any reaction from Amber and her team? What was going on in there as the verdicts were read?
Well, I was sitting behind her team,
Amber.
her side of the courtroom, and I was trying to see, obviously I'm seeing the back of their heads, so I didn't get much reaction. Obviously, they're disappointed. They believe they're right. They believe he's wrong. But the jury saw otherwise. The jury, he ran the table. He may not have gotten the $50 million, but he won on every question.
Right.
That jury found that they believed that she lied. That's what they're saying. They're saying she lied.
She did
And
lie.
that she put it out there in the public to hurt him. And it did hurt him. So she will appeal, I'm sure. But, you know, obviously he lost on the second Waldman statement.
Right.
So, yes.
So, you know,
I don't count that Johnny lost.
It seemed
You cannot hold Johnny accountable for what his lawyer said
from the crowd? Did anyone
on
sort of
his
gasp,
social
anything
media.
like that? You know?
Yeah, there were smiles. Obviously, there were smiles. I kept looking, trying to look around to see Ben Chu and Camille Vasquez's reactions, and you know, they were kind of. I could see Ben Chu smiling a little bit, but it wasn't like a huge smile. You know, it's a court of law. There's a certain level of decorum. Obviously, they're pleased. They won. They may not have gotten the $50 million that they were seeking in the original claim, but he got 10. They found that he deserved compensatory damages of $10 million, and then punitive damages of $5 million, but that's capped at $350,000 by statute. So he won't get the $5 million in punitive damages.
Okay, so he gets $10 million.
I could see there were fans of his in there who were smiling.
$350,000.
I must say, I think I mentioned this on the air earlier today, and I wanted to grab him before I came out here, and I just couldn't. I hope he comes. If you're watching, he said he's been watching. Come by the tent. Please come by the tent. We invite you. But this gentleman was in line with me for a wristband this morning, and he said that he used to try cases, is what he said. And he told me this morning he believed, I'm pretty sure he said, I believe the jury will be back today and they will give him $14 million. When they said the 10 and 5, I literally looked back and he just smiled at me. I was like, how did you know? So he needs to come over here and give us an exclusive.
Thank you very much, Amanda, because
they were here at 7 a.m.
So, and Jeanette, I believe our camera's up now showing you guys the front of the courthouse. You've been
So
talking to
he
these
had
lawyers
to pay
throughout the
her
process. You expect
$7 million in their
you can.
divorce.
They were not introduced yourself. You know, you've not been
And
getting
she has
inside
to pay
details or
him
anything that you shouldn't be.
8.3.
Right. You've spoken to them enough.
I'm a very chatty person.
Right.
So,
And that's why we love you. So you expect that both sides will be coming out to deliver some remarks.
I don't know that. I would certainly hope so. We are all set up for a press conference I would certainly hope that Depp's team would come out and make some comments. The world is watching. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say the world is watching.
You know, more than 3 million people watching on our channel alone.
Yes, and we've got a chopper up above, some type of news chopper. We've got, you know, the world media set up here. So I would assume and hope that they might come out.
If they don't come out
I keep
and
trying to
speak
check my
by
phone, but still pay attention,
3
obviously,
p.m.
to what
or
we're
the
doing
top of
here.
the hour, I should
So
say.
we're not being rude here, people. This is just how we operate in
Then
2022.
I'll end this.
So we are trying to get that information. I would certainly hope they would come out. We're allowed to do this now. This was not allowed during the trial, not at all. The judge said nothing, no interviews, no public statements.
Which is common during.
Correct. It's a gag order of sorts.
Yeah. So we want to, for those who may have missed part of the verdicts, it happened somewhat quickly. Let's go back and listen to the part when the jurors delivered their monetary judgment in Johnny Depp's favor.
Wah, wah, Amber. Wamber.
$5 million. In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Ms. Heard's claim against Mr. Depp.
That was pointless.
Okay,
Live
some technical
TV.
difficulties. Okay. We're having some technical difficulties apparently with that clip. So Anjanette, we were just talking about, we expect attorneys from both sides are going to come out, probably make a statement, maybe Johnny Depp's team. We hear some activity now, so can we go in line to that
Okay,
camera,
something's
guys?
happening. People are clapping.
Wow, you can hear the
Johnny
cheers
Depp's lawyers.
erupting.
Camille.
I can only assume that that is the Depp legal team coming outside right now, taking their real live victory lap in real time. I'm going to go to the podium. And here they are approaching the podium, Ben Chu, Camille Vasquez, the rest of the Johnny Depp legal team.
Hi everyone. Today's verdict confirms what we have said from the beginning, that the claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence. We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the jury has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Guys, have you spoken to Johnny? How is he feeling? How's Johnny feeling?
Why would you ask them that? Will Johnny and Amber ever speak to each other again? Like they know anything. And I would say when Johnny wouldn't even look at her, you think he's going to talk to her?
Well, there you have it. Attorneys for Johnny Depp not taking any questions right now. They made a brief statement. They have gotten into their SUV. I can see a lot of movement.
All right, let me turn this around. Turn it around. All right, so I still have it on behind my iPad there. If if Amber's lawyers come out, I'll go back to it. But as we said, justice prevailed. I take offense to anybody who says, if you were Team Johnny, that you are setting back women and people who are abused. Or actually, I should say women who are abused. Because the people who say that will not even consider that a man was the abused party. I went into this trial thinking that I would think Johnny was guilty because of Kathleen Zellner being on the case and leaving the case. So I watched the evidence. It has nothing to do with him being a famous actor, because there's plenty of famous people that have committed crimes, and I believe they're guilty. O.J. Simpson is guilty. The evidence shows that O.J. Simpson is guilty. The evidence shows Johnny Depp is innocent. Is he an angel? No. But all the evidence points to, and it's her evidence even. She's the one that was filming him and taking pictures of him. So when he's doing whatever drinking he's doing or whatever drugs he was doing, he passes out. How many different pictures did we see of Johnny Depp passed out? But Amber Heard wants you to believe that he becomes enraged and beats on her. And then when you see her own pictures, you're just seeing a little red mark on her cheek. That you're seeing her have that red mark in court every day. It seems to be how she puts on her makeup. That she gets this red on her cheek. And then there were other pictures of the split in her lip. And we've seen tons of evidence showing she picks and bites at her lip. Hello, Janine. And you see Johnny Depp wearing big, chunky rings. And she would have more than a little red mark if he is punching her with all those big-ass rings on. So, her alleged mountain of evidence. Oh, is this her leaving the courtroom? That's her team leaving. I didn't see her. So, her mountain of evidence, alleged mountain of evidence, everything just pointed to Johnny's innocence. We heard time and time again that when she would have a tantrum, he's trying to lock himself in a bedroom. He's trying to leave the situation. She's escalating it. We see that he loved her deeply, took care of everybody she cared about, her parents, her sister, all her friends, living rent-free in his penthouses. Yeah, Amanda, glad all those conversations were recorded. When we see the one of Johnny slamming cabinets, it's his mother. Okay, which one was it? Because I'd heard that his mother had just died, and that's why he was upset. And then other people have said it was, that's when he found out that one of his people did something, stole some of his money, did something shady with his money. Either way, there was something I'm not trying to give like an abuser an excuse or whatever. It just is what it is. The guy has tantrums and he breaks shit. So he slams some cabinets and drinks some wine. So, right, Kat, her parents loved Johnny. Her sister loved Johnny. All her friends, no longer her friends. Her sister was the only one that had her back. And we've heard things about her abusing her sister. So, justice prevailed. I'm shocked. I wasn't expecting it. I was hoping it would happen, but didn't plan on it. And this is based on evidence, not because he's famous. I don't give a smurf that he's famous. And I, quite frankly, really love a lot of Johnny Depp's movies. I'm old enough that I watched 21 Jump Street when it aired. It was must-see TV for me to watch 21 Jump Street. But I'm going to go off of facts, evidence. Because Johnny Depp is nothing to me. Just because he's a celebrity doesn't mean I'm going to think that he's innocent. I need to see the facts. And everything that Amber has pointed to Johnny Depp is innocent, and he was the one that was abused by Amber Heard, and that she wrote that article or allowed ACLU to put... I'm very disappointed in the ACLU right now. I am a strong supporter of the ACLU. What is wrong with the ACLU in this case? I don't know who they're talking to right now. Some dude. Let me unmute it and see.
He won every count, but he didn't get the $50 million.
It just seemed like there was competing facts on both sides, but the sexual violence count didn't seem like there were competing facts.
Interesting. Your thoughts on the verdict for Amber Heard based on the second Waldman statement? They found it was defamatory and that Adam Waldman made that statement on behalf of Depp as his agent, and they awarded $2 million in compensatory damages, 0 and punitive. Your thoughts on that?
Well, she had her witnesses testify, and it was other than her, and they said it didn't happen. So there's a basis for that finding.
Your general reaction, I mean, I feel like you got the verdict pretty much right.
I didn't get to see the whole trial, but from what I saw, it sounded like...
Alright, so that's the guy, I'm assuming that's the guy that Anjanette had said earlier, was the guy that predicted $15 million for Johnny. So, nobody important. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a juror. So, alright, then I'm gonna call this to a close, that Johnny Depp is victorious, as he should be, and his lawyer Waldman owes him $2 million. So that is that. Hopefully next week we'll get back to our regular scheduled lives on YouTube. I've been obsessed with this trial, and I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff politically, so it's hard for me. We'll see. So, but maybe next week we'll talk about this trial some more, and maybe we'll have some news on any of the other cases that we cover that we can discuss. So, alright, I'm gonna go. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk soon. Investigation. Oh, can she be charged for perjury? Dawn, I know people have said that she could be charged for perjury now. I don't know if it'll happen, But, all right. Thank you, everybody. I'm out. I'm going to continue to watch coverage to see. I want to find if anybody talks to a juror, because I'd be interested to see what the jurors say. So, all right. Investigation continues. Bye, everybody.